All right, greetings. It's Friday after Thanksgiving. What is that, the 28th? 27th, whatever. It's in the afternoon. I wanted to get you the rest of Saturday's football games today in the sports barn. I am the Big E, occasionally known as Eric Arnold. I think I got that backwards. Before I get to the picks, there's one politics barn note that's rattling around in my head here. I don't feel like making a whole video. Plus, it's anti-Trump, so that'll, get me downvoted if I throw that out on the politics barn. But I've seen there's this, I guess, wave in the last 24 hours here in Pennsylvania thought that the Pennsylvania state legislature is going to overturn the results, I guess. Say that's enough. We've heard enough evidence. There was way too much fraud here, and we're simply going to declare Trump the winner and send a Trump slate of electors to the Electoral College. Okay, the chances of that happening are zero. Absolute zero. That has no chance of happening. Just wanted to let you know what I know about the Pennsylvania state legislature. No, I mean, I think they could have an affidavit, the Pennsylvania state legislature. Rudy Giuliani could go in there with affidavits of 10 million people saying they voted for Trump, another 5 million people saying they voted for Biden, and there's only 12 million people that vote in this damn state, and they still wouldn't do it. It doesn't matter what evidence you put in front of these guys, they're not going to do it. Oh yeah, there's some guys that want to do it, and I don't begrudge them. I like the senator from York, what is it, Adams County, Doug Mastriano. I like this guy, but the chances of him getting a majority in the House and the Senate, zero. My guy here in Robinson Township, he's not going to do it. There's no way in the world that guy would do it. He just doesn't want the heat. Plus I don't think he's a Trump guy. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't want the heat. So he's not going to do it. No way, no how. What the Reading Eagle right now should be doing is trying to track him down and get a statement from him. But the chances of that guy taking a phone call, say in the next, week or so, zero. That guy's just going to drop off the radar screen. You'll never find him. Anyway, I could go on a Mark Gillen rant, but I won't. Anyway, back to sports. Let's get the weekend going here. How about that Iowa State game? That was a nice, exciting game there. Iowa State, I guess, is one win away from the Big 12 title game, so nice win there for them. But what else we got? Where did we leave off? Here's Saturday. Well, we're going to take Florida. The little model says this is a best bet, a top play, lock of the week, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know. I mean, we're laying 25.5 points. That seems like a lot. I don't know. This better be the, like I said, I heard on the internet that this edition of the Florida Gators reminded the person of the Steve Spurrier Gators. Let's hope so. Let's hope that the Ron Zook Gators don't show up, or I guess we're screwed. But, I mean, Kentucky just lost by 60 to Alabama. I hope that's an indication of how bad Kentucky really is if we're going to lay 25.5. Anyway, we'll lay the 25.5. I don't know what to do here with Penn State, Michigan. We took Michigan for just a star, no. My only thinking here is I've been told by a Penn State alumnus here in Berks County that they're married to Franklin. They can't get rid of him. That they just re-upped him to a huge contract, which I guess in a way I thought, what does that matter? I mean, Penn State wastes money up there it's going out of style. I mean, they must have blown $100 million, maybe more, $200 million probably on that Sandusky deal. And all they did is just raise my taxes and get me to pay for it, which I thought was really funny because I didn't go to school there. So why am I paying for this? But, I guess they could do the same thing with Franklin. It's like, you just come to me and say, we're raising your property taxes. Well, why? Well, we hired a bad coach, and, it's kind of embarrassing. It's like, I went to Ohio State. It's not embarrassing to me. In fact, I kind of enjoy it. What am I paying for this for? But I doubt they'll do that. They'll probably just hang on to him for another year or so. So I figured Harbaugh is a guy that really needs this game. So it's a pick 'em. Michigan's at home. Harbaugh needs a game more than Franklin does. So I think Harbaugh will somehow figure out a way to get it, and we'll take Michigan. Maryland, what happened? We haven't seen these guys in a while. I looked it up. Indiana has a really bad record after playing Michigan or Ohio State. And I think that they're in when they play those two teams, they just beat them up. And this is obviously a better version of Indiana than you normally get, but they might not be as deep as there's been a short season so far, and their depth has not been tested. We'll take Maryland in the 12.5 here. I was told by a Columbus source this game won't happen, so I don't know. Ohio State laying the 28. They were embarrassed. If you can be embarrassed by winning, we were embarrassed last week. Gave up almost 500 yards passing to Indiana. I mean, we didn't give it up to Florida or Alabama or the New York Jets. We gave it up to Indiana. So we'll give Ryan Day another chance to unembarrass himself. We figure he's going to want to run tempo and run up the score to try to establish his playoff bona fides. So we'll lay the 28 there with Ohio State. I put this down, and as I was writing it down, I thought, oh, this is probably a mistake. I got Coastal Carolina laying 17 at Texas State. They're due for a bad game. They really are. One of these magical years where you just go deeper and deeper into the season and you're more and more undefeated. Sooner or later, you have a big letdown game. I have no idea if it's going to be here. I took the favorite, took the Chandeliers. Here's one we normally would not do. We got Lafayette versus Monroe. We're taking the bad team. We're taking Monroe here. We're going to take, we're getting 28.5. It's probably not nearly enough considering this team lost, 40-7 to Liberty, and Lafayette's every bit as good as Liberty is. So it's probably not nearly enough. But it's a rivalry game. Monroe plays these guys close. At least that's what the internet said. So we'll take Monroe for a star there. Probably the only time we'll do that all year. I don't know what to do with Clemson. Well, I do know what to do with Clemson. I don't know what to do with Pitt. Pitt I haven't gotten right all year. They played some okay games earlier in the year. Then they lost 4 in a row. Now they've had 2 good games in a row. Pitt's one of these teams that you probably don't want to play these guys late in the year and be giving them a whole bunch of points. I mean, I can think of a couple instances right off the top of my head where Pitt was the turd in the punch bowl. I remember Ohio State, we needed teams ahead of us to lose so we could get in the playoff. And Miami was one of those teams. And sure enough, they go into Pittsburgh as like 17-point favorites and get beat by Pitt. I remember one on it was a night game. God, I remember where I was. I was in Florida. I had a BW3 in Florida. We needed all kind of stupid stuff to happen to get in. That was that 2007 year. And Pitt was like a 28-point underdog to West Virginia and they've got old Dave Wannstedt as their coach on crutches. And damn if they don't beat West Virginia as a 28-point underdog to throw us into the playoffs where we promptly embarrassed ourselves to LSU. But I wouldn't want to play against Pitt here. So we'll take Pitt. They beat Clemson 4 years ago down there. I mean, they've played them tough in the recent past. So we'll go ahead there. this is one of these, this is a COVID pick. I mean, in other words, I'm just doing the opposite of things I would normally do. I cannot imagine Northwestern going into Lansing and beating those guys in late November by more than 2 touchdowns. I just can't imagine it. So that's what we'll pick. We'll just pick it. That Michigan State has been awful. I mean, it's just isn't. This is not your big brother's Michigan State. This is a bad team. So we'll take Northwestern. Yeah, that's a COVID pick. Alabama just won by 60 points. How can I fade a team that just won by 60 points? I'm only laying 24.5. That's not even 60. So I guess that's the thinking there, that Alabama is just going to pull away in the second half and just score a touchdown on top of touchdown, and Auburn won't be able to keep up. So that's the thinking there. Purdue lay the 11 against Rutgers. I think this is the first time Rutgers is going to play on grass this year. Oh, let's see, what else? This is a top play. Boise State laying 11 on the blue field. This is a great year so far for San Jose State. They're having their best year probably in a long time, but they're catching a premium mid-major, if you will, at the Boise in the cold on the blue field. Play the blue field, lay the 11. Boise. This is a top play. Mississippi State. I think we have a coaching edge here. I like Leach as a coach. Lane Kiffin, I think, is overrated. I'm getting 9.5 points here. I think these teams are pretty similar. Leach has had now almost 7-8 games to try to line things up the way he wants them. I think he's smart enough to know that these are the kind of games, in other words, the people paying his salary will, they'll do backflips of joy if he beats like an Alabama, but they don't really expect him to. What they expect him to do is beat Ole Miss, and I think he knows this. So this is probably the game he's been pointing to. I think we're going to be getting value there, catching the 9.5 in a rivalry game. So we'll take Mississippi State. Kudos to San Diego State here. This was, it's like, where is this? An out-of-conference game? What's that? Yeah, I guess whoever was supposed to play Colorado dropped out. Was that USC or somebody? And San Diego State, stepped up and picked up the ball and said, we'll play. So I go, yeah, you got next. All right, come on in. So, no good deed goes unpunished, so we figure they'll get beat. We're only laying 3 there with Colorado at home against a warm weather San Diego State, so we'll do that for 1 star. I think Duke. I'm just not excited about Georgia Tech. I don't think that team's good. So we're only laying a point with Duke, so I think that's a winner there with Duke. This is a top play. I don't know. LSU traditionally owns Texas A&M, and these games are generally pretty close. And now suddenly, the team that never wins in this rivalry, if you call it that, is a 15.5 point favorite. And I know this has been a real up and down year for LSU, but we're wearing deeper into the season. Some of those young players now that Orgeron has been relying on are getting some seasoning. I think this LSU team is probably now better than some of those additions that played early in the year and got embarrassed. We'll take the 15.5 here on the road with LSU. That's a top play. Navy at home, late November, getting 13.5 from Memphis. Yeah, oh yeah, this is Navy weather. We'll take Navy. That's 2 stars. Navy at home. This is a top play just because there's a whole bunch of steam on this game. I don't really have a feel for it one way or the other, but there was a whole bunch of steam on this game for Georgia. So we'll make it a top play. Sure, why not? I think there was all kind of instability there in South Carolina. They were talking about hiring the Army coach. Yeah, and I think the alumni You know, they went to college. They're not stupid. I think they look at that going, wait a minute. I mean, you know, the guy coaches his Army. I mean, you know, Army is a mid-major. They're in no way, shape, or form does Army match up with anything in the SEC. I mean, it would be curious just to see the triple option in the SEC and see how that would work. But if I was a, you know, South Carolinian alumnus, I wouldn't be for that. I couldn't get down with that. We'll take Georgia, lay the 21.5. That's a top play. Oh, I forgot to circle this one. Hey, Rusty Hall, this one's for you. We've got Kansas. What happened to those guys? Les Miles in Kansas. They're catching 24 at home from TCU. This is a top play. Les Miles keeps his job, wins the game. Wins the game outright. I don't know if he's going to do that, but he's getting 24 points from TCU. TCU's just having a so year. Kansas has been off for a few weeks, so maybe they found something resembling talent. I don't know. I doubt it. But we think they're going to win, or let's put it this way. They're going to lose by less than 24 points. So saith I. That's the top play, Kansas. And then late night, we'll take Hawaii out on the island. Like Hawaii when they're catching points at home, especially against those mountain teams. That's a big shock. You get off the airplane and it's all hot and muggy and feels good, and the last thing you feel like doing is playing football. You just want to go to the beach, but you got a football game to play, so we'll take Hawaii. Let's see. So sum up. What do we have here? I guess our best plays were Florida, Boise, Mississippi State, LSU, Georgia, and the Kansas Jayhawks. And I mean their football team, not the basketball team. We'll have the pro games for you by tomorrow sometime. So we'll see how that goes. Well, let's see. I mean, we're getting into it now. And I guess the bowl games will be lining up here soon. Conference championship games. College basketball's tipped off. Yeah, it's just too much right now to keep up with. Plus, trying to run that other channel, the politics barn, just too much. So we'll do the best we can to get you picks. They may not be right picks, but they'll be picks. At some point, we'll line this all out. And like I said, it's a 10-year project. 10 years. There was a fellow that did leave a message on one of the boards. He had a name I thought that stuck in my head. You sure about that? That was his name. You sure about that? No, I'm not. Clearly. I have no idea. But he said he was in the business, so I hope he sticks around. Just because I want to pick his brain at some point and try to learn from maybe his mistakes or his successes. But I appreciate the comments, any that you give, as long as they're not calling me an asshole. Hit the like button if you care to do that. We'll do the best we can to entertain and get you picks. NFL by tomorrow. Thanks. From me to you. Good luck. Good gambling. Out.